I put a $50 budget mic head to head against a $400 Studio Legend. And honestly, the results are gonna make a lot of audio snobs pretty uncomfortable. If you're looking for the best dynamic microphone this year for streaming, podcasting, or just not sounding like you're trapped in a tin can on Discord, you don't automatically need to empty your wallet. I tested the top contenders, from cheap USB kits to the heavyweight broadcast classics, looking at background noise rejection, voice warmth, and how much of a headache they are to set up. Pick the wrong one and you'll be fighting static and buying expensive preamps you didn't budget for. Stick around, because the microphone taking the #1 spot completely bridges the gap between plug-and-play ease and pro-level sound. Before you pull the trigger on a new mic, here's the deal with dynamic microphones. First, watch out for the gain trap. Most people buy a Pro XLR mic and plug it straight into a cheap interface, only to find it's way too quiet. Dynamic mics are notoriously power hungry. If you go XLR, factor in the cost of a good preamp or a booster, or you'll be dealing with nasty background hiss when you crank the volume up. Second, don't ignore your environment. If you're recording in a noisy bedroom with PC fans blasting, dynamic is definitely the way to go over a condenser. But the spec sheet won't tell you how heavy these things are. Some of these weigh over 2 pounds, meaning that cheap $15 boom arm from Amazon will instantly droop under the weight. Finally, match the connection to your setup. If you're a beginner, just get a simple USB mic. If you plan to mix multiple audio sources later, you want XLR. Real quick, the links below are affiliate links. You pay the exact same price, but it helps me keep making these videos. Let's get into it with number 5.
Kicking things off at number 5 is the FIFINE AM8T. If you're looking for the best budget microphone for gaming and streaming, this complete kit sits right around $55. Honestly, for the price of a couple of pizzas, you're getting a dynamic microphone, a boom arm, and dual USB and XLR connections. Here's the deal with the specs. It has an 80 decibel signal-to-noise ratio and a built-in tap-to-mute button. What that actually means in practice is you plug it in via USB and it immediately cuts out the sound of your mechanical keyboard clacking in the background. Working from home with kids running around in the next room, with this one, your coworkers literally can't hear the chaos. It's ridiculously easy to set up for a PS5 or a PC. Let's be real though, at this price point, you're not getting premium build quality on the accessories. The included boom arm certainly works, but it's pretty flimsy and struggles if you move it around constantly. The desk clamp can also be a bit finicky, but the workaround is simple. Set it at the right angle once, tighten it down firmly, and just leave it alone. The sound quality itself easily punches above its weight class. It delivers a surprisingly warm tone that you'd expect from something double the price. Plus, the customizable RGB lighting adds a really nice touch if you want your setup to pop on camera, but you can completely turn it off if you prefer a selfie look. If you're just starting out and want an all-in-one package without overthinking it, this is a total no-brainer. Next up at number 4 is the MAONO PD200W. This is the Swiss Army knife of the group and my top pick for the best wireless microphone for a noisy environment. Coming in right around $85, this thing offers USB, XLR, and wireless connections all packed into one sleek device. The standout spec here is the wireless receiver paired with a massive 60-hour battery life. In real life, that means you can plug the dongle into your laptop, clip the mic to your desk, and literally walk around your office during a meeting while an AI takes notes and your voice stays perfectly locked in. I've seen creators use this to record dual-host podcasts simply by syncing 2 of these mics to a single receiver. It's a massive time saver for content creation when you don't want to be chained to a desk. Now, the limitation here is the mobile compatibility out of the box. While it's advertised as multi-device, the included receiver doesn't play nicely with iPhones without some extra help. You'll need to buy a separate Apple-specific dongle if you plan on shooting mobile video. Just factor that into your budget if you're a smartphone creator. But for PC and Mac users, the sound is incredibly crisp, and the MAONO Link app lets you tweak the EQ and RGB lighting effortlessly. The cardioid pattern does a heavy lifting job of rejecting room echo. If your workflow involves jumping between a gaming rig, a work laptop, and maybe a camera, having a mic that adapts to literally any setup without messy cable management is an absolute game changer. Taking the number 3 spot is the RØDE PodMic. If you are serious about starting a podcast and want that classic, rich radio voice without dropping a car payment, this is your mic. It usually hovers right around $90 and feels incredibly premium. Let's look at the build. It weighs in at just over 2 pounds and is made entirely of solid metal. Real talk, this thing is built like an absolute tank. It features an internal pop filter and an internal shock mount. What that means for you is you can accidentally bump your desk or get a little too animated during a stream, and it won't ruin your audio with a massive thud. 3 years of daily use, throwing it in backpacks, knocking it around, that's the kind of durability this mic delivers. It feels like professional broadcast gear in your hands. But there is a major catch you need to know about. This is an XLR-only microphone, and it is extremely power-hungry. If you just plug it into a cheap entry-level audio interface, your voice is going to sound like a whisper. It requires at least 50 decibels of clean gain to shine. The fix? You'll absolutely need to pair this with a decent preamp or an inline booster like a cloud lifter or a FET head. Once properly powered though, the background noise rejection is top tier. It ignores computer fans and AC units like they don't even exist. If you already have a solid audio interface and want a professional-grade dynamic microphone that will literally last a decade, the PodMic is an absolute steal.
All the links are down in the description.
Moving on to number 2, we have the Shure MV7 Plus. This is easily the best microphone for YouTube videos and streaming if you want foolproof studio quality sound without the hassle. It comes in at about $300, but it packs an unbelievable amount of smart tech inside. The MV7 Plus gives you both USB-C and XLR outputs, but the real magic is the updated auto-level mode and real-time denoiser. On paper, it uses spatial detection to adjust your gain dynamically. In practice, you can lean back in your chair to stretch, then lean right into the mic to whisper, and your volume stays perfectly consistent the entire time. No more clipping or tweaking gain knobs midstream. The customizable LED touch panel on top acts as a massive top-to-mute button, which is an absolute lifesaver for live broadcasts and remote Zoom calls. The downside, this mic is quite sensitive to plosives, those harsh P and B sounds if you are right up on the grill. The digital pop filter helps, but it isn't completely perfect. The easy workaround is just to angle the microphone slightly off axis, pointing at the corner of your mouth instead of dead center. With over 4,000 glowing reviews, the consensus is clear. The Motive Mix app integration is fantastic, letting you add studio reverb and tweak your EQ with just a few clicks. If you want the legendary Shure broadcast sound but don't want to buy an expensive, complicated mixer to get it, the MV7 Plus is the ultimate plug-and-play powerhouse for serious content creators. And taking the number 1 spot is the undisputed king of the studio, the Shure SM7B. You've seen this on almost every major podcast on the planet, and for very good reason. At around $390, it's definitely an investment, but it's the absolute best microphone for recording vocals and voiceovers, period. The SM7B features advanced electromagnetic shielding and a massive 50 to 20,000 Hz frequency response. What that actually translates to is the cleanest, warmest, most buttery voice isolation you can possibly get. If you record in a totally untreated, echoey room right next to a busy street, this mic somehow magically captures only your voice and rejects everything else. I've seen musicians track rock vocals in a messy bedroom, and it sounds like they were in $1 million professional studio. Backed by over 12,000 reviews, it's the gold standard. However, the limitation is legendary. It is notoriously quiet and requires at least 60 decibels of clean gain. You cannot just plug this into a basic setup and call it a day. You absolutely need a high-end audio interface or a dedicated preamp booster, which definitely adds to your total setup cost. But let me tell you, once you take it out of the box, set it up on a heavy-duty arm, and hear your voice played back, you immediately understand the hype. The included detachable windscreens kill plosives pad, and the onboard bass roll-off switches give you precise hardware-level control. If you are building a professional setup and refuse to compromise on audio quality, the SM7B is an endgame purchase. You will never need to buy another microphone.
So, returning to what I said at the start, you really don't have to spend a fortune to get great sound, but scaling up definitely brings serious perks. If you want the best bang for your buck, grab the FIFINE kit at number 5. For pure plug-and-play convenience, the Shure MV7 Plus is unbeatable. And for absolute perfection, the SM7B is waiting.
Links are right below. And if this video helped you out, a like really does help the channel.
Next time, I'm comparing audio interfaces to power these beasts. See you then!